us at your beautiful studio.
Yeah, thank you for being here. I'm so happy to be here.
Tell us more about your work. Tell us how you became a photographer.
Sure. So that was a long time ago in 2008. My daughter, who's now 20, was 3. And, I've always been a creative person. Like, I've done scrapbooking, jewelry making. I always had a camera. And so I thought, I'm just going to take some pictures of her. And I took a class at the community college. And then I'm like, oh, this is actually really fun. So I decided to launch my business. But I was working full-time in internal audit back then. My background is in accounting and finance. And I'm also a CPA, which is kind of strange because most CPAs don't have the right brain creative side. So anyway, I launched my business part-time and I specialize in seniors. This was in Dallas in 2008. And then I did it part-time and I realized that my time away from my daughter on the weekend was just really important. So I had to charge appropriately and I charged like a business. So I did that for a few years, but I always realized in my heart that I wanted to do this full-time, eventually have a studio. And every year I would go to work and I never felt like sort of satisfaction. And I had this little sign, I think it's sitting over there. It has love right in the middle, and then it has do what you love and love what you do. And I carried that sign everywhere to every job I had, and it sits right in front of my desk. And I would look at it every day, and I'm like, one day I'm gonna do what I love. So in 2012, I got laid off from Baylor Healthcare. I was in HR. And that was the turning point of my photography career. And I said to my husband, you know what, I'm just gonna do what I love. I'm gonna open a portrait studio and do this full time. And he looked at me and he was like, are you crazy? And I said, yes, I am. And then 3 months later, I built a studio from the ground up at a retail storefront place in my community of Castle Hills in Dallas, and it was amazing. My first year, I did really well. The second year, I was almost at $200,000 in revenue, and then it just continued on. So I was there for 5 years and moved here to Austin in 2019. So this is my second studio.
Wow, congratulations. It's a really inspiring journey.
Thank you.
How did you decide to specialize in family portraits and portrait art and art portraits and pets?
Of course, yes. So, I truly believe that you have to do what you love. So when I was in Dallas and I had my first studio for 5 years, I did mostly high school seniors. I had an ambassador program. I did 15 to 30 seniors a year, and then it was just really great. Most of my income came from seniors, but then I started to add in families. At first it was really hard because seniors is just one, but family you get like 10. I had a family of 26 once, and that's a lot more challenging. But I got better at it, and then I realized families wanted big wall portraits because what's more important than your family, right, on your wall? So I started doing really well with families, did lots of families, and then of course pets. I mean, who doesn't love dogs, right? So I have 6 dogs. I don't know if I told you that, but I'm a huge animal lover. I have 6 rescue dogs, including, of course, here's Leilani. Her name is Leilani Princess Lele on Instagram. But she is my latest rescue, and I even have a Hawaiian dog that I adopted from Kauai. So I'm a little crazy about dogs, and I always love dogs, and I always love photographing them, and I do a lot of fundraisers for animal rescue. So that's my other passion. But yes, I just love families, dogs, high school seniors, and I recently started launching into the women 50 and over because I'm 54. I just turned 54 this year.
Wow,
so,
really?
Yes.
Hard to believe.
Thank you.
Well, you're clearly a happy person, happy people.
Oh, thank you. It's the dogs.
It's the dogs. I mean, the 6 dogs. And we see this beautiful portrait behind you. Is it your work?
Yes, so it's one of my wonderful families in Dallas. I did the family, I did her sweet 16th, I did her high school seniors, I did the dad's headshots. So literally I photographed pretty much everybody in the family with multiple different options. But this is the Hong family, and they're just a beautiful family. And so it's a premium product that I have. I want to be known for it. It's called a mixed media painted portrait. So it starts with the photography, and then there's multi-levels of editing and printing and hand painting. So in the end, you get this beautiful painting, and it has acrylic and oil hand painted, and it looks like a beautiful piece of art, like a painting. And it's just that you can get this at a fraction of like an actual commission, where you commission an artist to come and you have to sit there really still. So this is completely different, but you get similar result at a fraction of the portrait price. So a piece like this runs about $5,000 to $6,000 without the frame.
Which is very reasonable considering that it's a legacy piece.
Yes, definitely.
It goes from generation to generation, and it's very true to life.
Right.
Because it's the exact expression on
Right.
faces. There is no much artistic freedom here, which is great for a family.
Yeah, but it is one of my favorite products that I offer. So, like I mentioned, I do portraits, wall portraits of families and dogs and seniors. But the painting is what I want to be known for, is the mixed media painting.
We also noticed that you have this beautiful setup for Christmas project.
Oh, yes.
Tell us more about it. How did it all come to life?
So 6 years ago, I took a mentor course from a well-known photographer. He's known as the Santa portrait photographer. And I did a whole workshop with him. So I learned how to create the Santa's magical experience. And all of my set that I have set up right now is all antique, and it's set to the night before Christmas. So, people think about Santa photos as like mall Santa, you sit on the lap, you click, and then you're done. Well, my Santa experience is like set at the night before Christmas, and it's a private setting in my studio here at the Hill Country Galleria. And everything in my set are antiques that I've collected over the years. Actually, I bought a box last year at an antique store in Salado, near Georgetown. And I opened it up, and it had the inscription of the person from Canada, like 1800s. So I did a little Google, and I found out some information about the person. I opened the box, and there's like a 1912 newspaper, so it's actually still in there. So everything in the set are old and antique, and so the kids, they get to spend 20 minutes private in the studio with Santa. I have the best Santa in Austin. He's very famous. He is the real Santa. He flies in from the North Pole, and he's Santa Phil. He's very well known. He's very popular, but I am the only studio in town here in the Bee Cave, Lake Travis, Austin area that does the night before Christmas Santa's magical experience. So the kids come in and they get this private, interactive experience with Santa, where they get to see if they're in the nice book or do they make the naughty list. The kids are always like so worried they make the naughty list, that when they see the expression, their name in the nice book, oh my gosh, I sit back and I get to capture the whole interaction, and their face when they see their name in the nice book, it's just amazing. And then we move on, so I help guide this transition from scene to scene. And after the nice book, we do magical painting with Santa. Of course, the magic is added later, but the kids don't see, they really believe that they're actually painting with magic with Santa, and then Santa adds some magic to the brush, and it's just so magical, and the kids love it. Then we move on to going to the globe, which is over there. It is an antique globe. So Santa will show them like where he flies in around the globe on Christmas Eve, and then the kids get to twirl the globe, and then they tell Santa where they live. So and then he adds magic to it, and the kids look up and they're like, oh my gosh, there's the magic. So there's lots of magic in my Santa's experience. Then they get back and they get to sing, and then the elves call from the North Pole on the red phone, and then they get to talk to the elves, and Bernard, who is the main elf from the North Pole, he really gets excited and then tells the kids all the toys that they're making for the kids, and the kids really get excited. And then after that, we sing all kinds of different songs with Santa, and then they get to see if they got the gift certificate, that if they made the nice list or the naughty list, and they love that. And then they leave with cookies from that Mrs. Claus baked for them. So a nice warm sugar cookie that Mrs. Claus made, and Santa hands it out to them, and they're just so excited. But so my whole experience is not just like people think, oh, I'm just gonna go to the mall, wait in line forever, sit on Santa's lap, and then click, and then we're done. This is no line, private appointment. They get to enjoy time with Santa and just have the most amazing experience. So most of the clients that do this, they always get a beautiful, beautiful album that tells the story that I capture, set to custom poetry that I write. So it's really beautiful. It's over there, and we can show you in a little bit. And then, or they can get a beautiful metal painted portrait of one of the scene, and it becomes a piece of art. So they hang it. It's framed in gold, and then the parents hang it on the wall year round. They don't take it down because it is like a piece of art. It's not just Santa picture. So I want people to realize that my Santa experience is very special, and I love it, Santa loves it, the kids love it, the parents love it, and they actually come back because last year I had one boy, his name is Maddox, and he was 7 months old, and they did a wall portrait, and then this year he came back at 19 months, and he loves Santa, and he can actually interact with Santa this year, and it was so awesome. So they did a beautiful album to tell the story, and then another portrait, so that they can see the difference, the transition between 7 months and 19 months, and they're gonna hang it like next to each other. So it's just a great way to capture that legacy. And one day, that album that he has, he can read to his kids when he has a family. So it's one of those that it passes down to generation.
Wow.
I know, as you can tell, I'm very passionate about it.
Well, I couldn't tell, really. No, wow, it really is an experience.
It is,
it's like
it
a
is.
fairy tale, a whole day with Santa.
It is, yeah.
With elves and magic.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, it's a process-oriented thing.
Yes,
not
it's
just
an experiential experience. So it's just like getting to enjoy the night before Christmas, really believing that you're there with Santa the night before Christmas, and reading the book. I forgot. They all should get to read the Bible and pray with Santa, and that's very special to a lot of parents. So,
Yeah, of course. Well, you seem to have picked the most difficult models for yourself. It's pets and it's little kids. So how do you manage them on the set, and who are harder to work with?
oh yes, so dogs and kids. I would say dogs are easier because I can always entice them with treats. And with kids, it's a little bit harder, especially kids under 5. With Santas, I do kids ages 6 months to maybe 9 are ideal ages for Santa. But kids in general, if they're 5 and older, I'm really great at it. Under 5, sometimes it just depends on their mood, right? But with dogs, it doesn't really matter how old the dogs are, either puppies or they're senior dogs. As you can see, Leilani, this is dogs, they kind of gravitate toward me anyway because they know how much I love dogs. And dogs have that ability to recognize a person who loves dogs. So I'm known as the dog whisperer. And I know how to get the dogs to pay attention, to tilt their heads. I make weird noises. I always tell the parents, I'm gonna make some weird sounds, so don't be freaked out if I make weird noises, but your dog's gonna react to me. And then I use treats and different squeaky sounds, but I'm always able to get some beautiful portraits of dogs. And a lot of times I'll ask people, so would you like to include your dog in the family portrait session? Because I always love to add dogs into family portraits because dogs are family too, right? And they're like, oh no, my dogs are really, really misbehaved. I'm like, don't worry about it. Bring your dog, we'll get beautiful portraits. And then when they come to see the design consultation appointment where I designed their wall portrait, they're like, how did you get that? I'm like, I told you I'm the dog whisperer. But there's certain tricks that you have to do as a photographer who specializes in pets and families to get the dog's attention. And so a lot of times people would hire a photographer who does families and not realize that there's a special type of person or photographer that is good with dogs. And so if you want family portraits with your dog or dogs by themselves, you gotta make sure to find a photographer who specializes in pets, because it's a little bit different. There's certain things and they also have to love the dogs, right? Because if somebody doesn't like dogs and they're doing dogs, the dog senses it right away. So.
Yeah, that's true. They can totally see.
Yes. Does Leilani look like she's mellow now? Like she's really enjoying the interview.
And what was the most memorable project you ever worked on?
Oh, as you know, my passion for animals, and for the last 10 years, I started in Dallas. I have been doing a pet calendar fundraiser where I photograph dogs. They have to enter their dogs, and then we have to do this huge voting on Facebook. It's very competitive. And I also select a local shelter, and I raise money and donate it to. So this year, I just did my 10th year calendar, and Charlie is the winner, and it's the 2022 calendar. And I selected Safe Refuge of Central Texas to donate the money to. So I have raised over the last 9 years, not counting this year, which is the 10th year, $25,000 that I have raised and donated. So for me, that's my biggest project, very passionate about it. It's very time consuming, but for me, I love it because I have 6 dogs that I rescue them from different groups. And I just love to help these animal rescues save more animals from being euthanized. So Safe Refuge stands for, the safe part stands for Save Animals from Euthanasia. So what they do is they go and they rescue all these little dogs from small town animal shelters, and then they give them homes. So it's just really one of those passion projects that I'm very passionate about. And I love raising money, all kinds of fundraisers. I love giving back to the community. That's my big thing. So the calendar is one of my biggest projects, and it's my 10th year now. And I just launched in 2021 another project, and it's gonna continue into 2022. It's called the Tales of Austin Coffee Book Fundraiser Project. So this project is going to be even bigger and has a lot more meaning to me because it's going to be a book project where the dog has to apply, and based on their story, I will select them to be part of the project. And for a $100 donation to Safe Refuge, again, I donate all of that, of course, and then they get a portrait session on my 2-acre property on Lake Travis. It's beautiful, the lighting is gorgeous, and then the dog gets a portrait in the coffee book, and then the parent, mom or dad, get to write a love letter to their dog, which basically tells them how their dog has saved them from whatever. Like, for example, let me share my story of Leilani. Leilani's gonna be in the book too. Actually, all my 6 dogs, because they all have a story. So Leilani was rescued by Rescue Row, and I adopted her 3 years ago when she was, I think she was 1. She was the cutest little 5-pound dog. And Lexi, who is my studio dog for 12 years, her portrait's all over the studio. She was a long-haired Chihuahua, and she was my heart dog. Like, I love her so much, so much. So anyway, I'm gonna cry. I always cry when I tell this story. So Lexi passed away unexpectedly after a neck surgery, and I just went into major depression. But then Leilani came into my life, and I saw her, and I rescued her, and she saved me. So after I adopted Leilani, I cried for like half an hour in the car. And she's with me all the time, so I love her. But I always cry when I tell this story. So the book is about how your dog transformed your life and saved you. And the love letter that the owner writes to the dog that goes into the book is all about how the dog has made an impact on the person's life. So there you go. I cried on camera. I can. But I do time. And that's why I'm so passionate about dogs and portraits, and how, you know, how dogs, they're only with you for like maybe 10, 15 years of your life. But if you do a portrait of them, and it's a painting or a wall portrait, it hangs on your wall and it lives forever. So as you can see, Lexi's over there with the painting, she's over there, she's everywhere. So when I'm here at the studio, I have Lexi with me. And of course, Leilani's here all the time. So that's why I'm so passionate about dogs and families are part of dogs are part of the family. And so every time I do a family portrait, I always ask the family, do you have a dog? And they're like, yes. I'm like, well, let's include your dog, because they are part of the family. And people in Austin, they love their dogs. I mean, this is like the perfect city for dog lovers and dog portrait photographer artists like me, because there's a dog on every corner. Actually, here at the Galleria, where my studio is located, the Hill Country Galleria, I am putting on a dog Halloween costume fashion show next Saturday. It's going to be at the main center called the Central Plaza, and we're doing a fashion show. Well, it's a dog costume contest, and there's going to be 3 sponsors: me, Kim Ortiz Portrait Art, and then Camp Bow Wow, and then Healthy Pet, which is at the Galleria. So we're going to have prizes for different categories. It's going to be so much fun, and I'm raising money for Divine Canines. As you can tell, everything I do has some sort of fundraiser aspect to it, because I believe that we, as business owner, we are given a gift. God gave us a gift. And so we can use that talent, that gift, to give back to those in need, or a passion that you're very passionate about, which for me is anything dealing with animals. So I just kind of love that.
And is it the choice to have all rescue dogs, or was it a coincidence?
So I am all about animal rescue, but I have to tell you that Lexi was not a rescue dog. She was my long-haired Chihuahua for 12 years. My husband gave her to me as a gift for Christmas after my first dog, Texie, who was a long-haired Chihuahua and a rescue, died, and I thought I was gonna die too, because you know, we love our dogs so much. So when one leaves us, we feel like part of our heart has been ripped away. But so Lexi came into my life at 2.5 months, and she, like Leilani, loved me like just so much. So she was my heart dog, and all the dogs after her are rescued. And I do a lot of volunteering and I donate my services to any rescue organization or foster parent that has a dog that wants to bring the dog to my studio. And I will photograph the dog at no charge so that the dog can get adopted. And I have helped so many dogs get adopted, especially black dogs. So that's kind of one of the reasons why I ended up with 6 dogs, because it's so hard when you're seeing these dogs and you just want to take them home. But 6 is a lot, and I think I capped it at 6. So we have 6. I have a husky, Sasha, a labradoodle, Apollo. He's actually in that portrait over there. He got married. I married him to his wife, but she moved to Costa Rica. They had 2 babies together. And then I have Makai, who I adopted when we went on vacation to Kauai, and he's actually Hawaiian. And then I have Malia, and then Chloe, who's a 11-year-old Chihuahua. She's the oldest and the smallest. And then Leilani, who is 3 or 4, I'm not quite sure. So the 6 dogs are called the 6-pack. Isn't that cute? So I was thinking about that I should get a shirt that says on the front, do you want to see my 6-pack? You know, like people think you have a 6-pack, like you're ripped. But then on the back, it would have my 6 dogs. So I thought that was a cute shirt. I mean, I may get some and make it like that.
Is your family jealous of your 6-pack?
Oh, my husband is. Oh my gosh, my husband. Well, my husband is jealous of my 6 dogs. But I love my husband. He's kind of number 7. I know, and he knows that. He understands it. I mean, the dogs all sleep on the bed, and so he gets it. that the dogs do come first, even though I love him. We've been married 23 years. And then my two girls, one is 29 and one is 20, they all know the dogs come first too. But I love my girls too. And my older daughter, Ashley, who lives in Abilene, she just got engaged and she's getting married next year. So do you know how many dogs she has? She followed her mama's footsteps. She has 4 Frenchies and her fiance has a German Shepherd. And so for their engagement surprise a month ago, all the dogs were in it. It was really crazy. I gotta show you the video. But yeah, so she is a crazy dog mom like me. And she has a huge Instagram following with her dog. I think she has like 13,500 followers on her dog's Instagram page called Stanton, Odin, Oakley, Emma, and forgot what her other dog's name is. Too many to keep up.
Memorizing all those names.
Yes. She keeps changing the name because she keeps adding dogs to it. So I'm like, honey, don't get to the 6-pack. But she did play a joke on me about a month ago. She said, Mom, I just got another dog. And it was another Frenchie. And I was like, oh my gosh, you got a 6-pack now. And then she goes, Mom, I was just playing with you. I'm like, oh. so she stuck at 5. That's plenty.
Well, it's a good wedding gift. You can give her another dog.
No. I did give her a wedding gift of a wedding photographer because I don't do weddings. So, yeah, so I want her to have the best portraits. So I did hire a photographer for her.
Where do you see your business in 5-10 years from now? Do you want to do it forever or do you want to change something?
So in 5 years, I would love to be known in the Austin, Lake Travis, Bee Cave area as the portrait artist that does painted portraits of families and dogs and high school seniors, because for me, having that beautiful painted portrait of your family or dog or your high school senior who's going off to college that you can see every single day, and then one day you pass it down to your kids and then you pass it on to their kids. You know, when you go to the museum, you see these beautiful pieces of art. I want to be known for that in this area. And so this painting behind me, for me, that's what I want to do. I do wall portraits now, but not all of them are paintings. And so I want to be known for that, and that's all I want to focus on is paintings. But it'll take a while to get there because people purchase what they see, and so the more they see paintings of families or dogs or high school seniors in my clients' homes, they're going to go, oh, who did that? And they're going to be like, oh, Kim Ortiz, portrait art over at the Hill Country Galleria, and she's amazing, or whatever.
They're definitely going to say so.
Yes.
Because they are amazing. Well, and I guess my last question, are there anything else besides dogs and portrait art that you're passionate about? Any fun facts?
Yes. Okay, so before I go into the fun facts, I have a lot of passion in regard to that, but I turned 54 this year, and in the window I have a self-portrait I did on my 54th birthday in March with Leilani. I did it by myself. And I decided that being 54 and all the things I've gone through, like I came here from Vietnam as a refugee when I was 8 in 1975, so that was a long time ago, and I was the first to be graduated from high school and college in my family, and then I did my career in accounting and finance for so many years, but then I finally found my passion, which is doing portraits and creating something for people that will last forever. But this year, when I turned 54, I realized I've gone through a lot in my life and changed careers multiple times and finally found what my calling was, what my why is, right? And so I just launched a really cool project called 50 Over 50, and the goal is to give women who are 50 and over, they could be 100. I did a portrait of a woman who was 100 once. It was amazing. But this project is only for 50 women, and it's going to be done in my studio. They get a whole transformational experience. They get hair and makeup. They get styling. I have 3 boutiques that I partner with here at the Galleria, and then they get the whole portrait session in the studio. We have lots of fun. I discover what they're passionate about, how I want to make them feel empowered, what they love, and then by the time they leave, they will feel so amazing about themselves and get to share their life story with me that will be in a magazine that I create. So it'll have their portrait and then their story, and then we'll have a great exhibit party, like a champagne party, after I do all 50 women. So it may take a while. So the information is on my website, kimortiz.com, 50 over 50, and I really would love to get that to be more people to participate in it, and it's like an amazing value. It's $390 with a $1,290 value because they do get that, all of that, plus an 8x10. But they do have the option to buy a portrait box if they want to. There's no obligation. So that's my new passion, another passion of mine that I want to my studio to be known for also. Because, being 50, nowadays it's so hard to open a magazine and not see anyone over a certain age. So we as women 50 and over, I don't feel 54 at all. I get often asked, you don't look like I think age is just a number, right? I think it's just a mindset of how you feel. And, I don't feel my age at all. And I want to help women feel empowered, beautiful. And we sometimes have negative self-talk, and we want to lift other women up too, so that women should lift other women up. And I think that's really important, to find that true friendship, authentic friendship with other women. I'm searching for that too, of course. It is hard. So I am very excited about this 50 over 50 project. Other things, fun facts that I want to share is I live on 2 acreage that faces Lake Travis with these amazing sunsets. And because I'm so passionate about Hawaii, I am 50% Polynesian, but I didn't know that until I did my DNA because I'm Vietnamese. And every night I would watch these beautiful sunsets. Like 2 nights ago, we had the most amazing sunset. So I have this blog page on Facebook called Aloha Hacienda. I named my property Aloha Hacienda. So every night there would be a photo or a video of a sunset, and I just love just staring at it and just pretend I'm in Hawaii. I turn on Hawaiian music and I'll drink the glass of wine and just hang out with Leilani and the dogs. But I just love it. And then I also love fireworks. I'm crazy about fireworks, and I love Maui, and I love food. I love food, and of course I love dogs. And one day I want to retire in Maui. So that's the goal, on the beach.
One day we'll find you in Maui.
One day, yes. So I made a rule that all my future dogs have to have Hawaiian names. So that's why we have Malia, Makai, and Leilani. So who knows what the next name would be. I would name my dog Maui or Kona or, just, I always put a lot of thought into the name that I pick. So Leilani means heavenly flower, because she brought heaven, she came to me because I needed her. And so she is rightly named Heavenly Flower, Leilani, Princess Lele. So those are all the things I'm very passionate about. And I'm passionate about being involved in the community. In Lake Travis, where I live, I'm very active in the chamber. I'm on the leadership Lake Travis as a leader, and we just went through a whole day last week called Retail Day. And it was so much fun to help my team do this. We launched it here at the studio, and then we spent the whole day going around all the local businesses. It was super fun. So now we can just relax and enjoy the rest of the days that we do a different day every month. So I'm very active in the community. I just got inducted into the Rotary this morning. So the Rotary, if you don't know, is an organization that's international, and they do support local and international projects. Like they stopped polio. Did you know that? The Rotary? And here in Lake Travis, our local Rotary, we're selling raffles for $100, and you get a chance to win a brand new Cadillac sedan. And the money goes to support different projects. Like there's this school down in South America that they use the money for to build school for the children down there. And then here in Lake Travis, we give away scholarships to the Lake Travis High School. So those are the things I'm very passionate about. I love having money to give away. So my goal is to become independently wealthy so that I can give and give and give freely. And that's my passion. That's my why.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And for helping the community and of course the dogs.
Yes, and she's got used to you now, so she's very comfortable now, not scared anymore.
Great. Thank you.